grease, condoms, wipes.
People look at the toilet as just a liquid trash removal service.
What we're dumping down our drains is creating a really big mess.
There's no good way of getting this out.
What do you think the public would think if they saw these?
Jennifer Costa digs deep and discovers how our bad habits could be costing us money.
People have to care.
Don't miss the gross truth in Flushed, Monday on the Channel 3 News at 5:30. First in News.
Well, how much thought do you give to what you flush? New at 5:30, Jennifer Costa reveals the gross truth behind fatbergs and the damage done by products many of us use.
So, Eva, the question, why are we talking about toilets and showing the sewer system on TV? Well, as gross as the images that you're about to see may be, it's important to understand how these and cooking grease are contributing to a costly problem growing underground.
If it goes down a drain, it comes to us.
You name it, Matt Dow has seen it come in from the sewer line.
Wipes, condoms, feminine hygiene products, toys.
We're going to show you what happens when people flush things they shouldn't. It happens all the time, and just a warning, it's gross. But it's something every ratepayer should see because we discovered eventually it will cost you.
People look at the toilet as just a liquid trash removal service.
Burlington's Wastewater Facilities manager tells us every time you dump a little bacon fat down the sink, you are helping fatbergs form. We got access to this underground camera which reveals city sewer pipes coated in layers of grease.
If it just keeps happening and keeps happening, it reduces how much flow can actually go down the sewer.
In London, an extreme example. This fall, workers had to figure out how to dislodge this enormous fatberg, a rock-solid sewer blockage weighing as much as 11 double-decker buses. Burlington's 50 miles of sewer lines are nowhere near as large as London's old Victorian pipes, but the potential for a blockage is the same.
You're going to see the mother lode of grease.
Dow takes us to another facility in the city where the effects of congealed fat are more obvious. In this grit chamber, the water is aerated, which turns the grease globs into baseballs of blubber. And this is just 1 month's accumulation.
There's no good way of getting this out, so we have to actually take a bucket and manually pull it up with a rope, hand over hand.
What makes these fatbergs even worse is when oil and grease mixes with other items people shouldn't flush, like sanitary pads and wipes. Our camera caught a ton of these piling up at the plant.
A lot of baby wipes will say on the back of them, they are not flushable, and then you'll have some wipes that are called flushable.
Dow says flushable just means the fabric will pass through your pipes to the sewer.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing to put in the sewer. As the pump is trying to turn to push that water, they can wrap around the impeller, which can cause it to malfunction.
Think of it this way. This hand mixer is the pump station. See how easily the toilet paper starts to break down with just a little bit of agitation? And the beaters are left with very little debris on them. So now let's try the same thing with so-called flushable wipes. Even with agitation, like before, there's very little breakdown. And check out the beaters.
He tells us as wipes are marketed to more and more adults, the problem underground grows, and it's not cheap to fix. We found out it costs at least $250 every time a worker gets called away from regular duty to clear a wipe clog. And in the last 5 years, the city has spent $16,000 on new technology that's less likely to clog, but it's also less hydraulically efficient, which means higher energy costs.
We're charged with trying to do the best job we can to clean the water before we return it to the lake.
Think you can change mentality?
I mean, people have to care. They have to have some sort of buy-in on it.
And so that was the price tag just for the wipes. When it comes to grease, the city says it spends tens of thousands of dollars a year between clearing grease buildup at the plants, fixing equipment inundated by grease, and clearing out those plugged sewer drains. And then there's the cost of disposal and chemicals. The city is looking into building a better system to deal with all of this, but that comes with a $100,000 price tag.
Geez, who knew this was so costly?
I know, I think of it totally different now every time I flush.
Thank you, Jennifer.